to Ms Lauder.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to support Ms Lee's motion today and to deliver a few brief remarks on behalf of my colleague Mrs Kickett, who had to leave. Mrs Kickett's remarks are in the context of a mother of 5 children who are all enrolled in the Territory's public school system. She's also a bilingual Australian one who, like nearly 24% of Canberrans, grew up using a language other than English at home. Her husband spent his earlier years in the Netherlands, where naturally he spoke Dutch but also learned English from his mother. He then learnt Tongan as a third language in his 20s. And Mrs Kickett shares these details, Madam Speaker, as a way of supporting all that's been said in this debate today about the benefits of learning a second or even a third or fourth language. These benefits go far beyond just the ability to communicate with or understand a broader range of people. And naturally, Mrs Kickett, like so many other Canberra parents, wants her children to enjoy those same benefits that come from learning a second language. Unfortunately, in her experience, her family have encountered some of the issues identified by Ms Lee in her motion. For example, one of her children had the opportunity to start to learn a second language in the first 2 years of primary school, but no opportunity at all for the next 3 years, only to have a completely different language offered in Year 5. Needless to say, this muddle of approaches has not resulted in any proficiency in either language. Sadly, this experience is not unique. As a spokeswoman from the ACT Council of Parents and Citizens Associations recently pointed out, many Canberrans are, I quote, concerned about the lack of clear pathways for language students in the capital. It's not a working system, end quote. The research on this point is quite clear, Madam Speaker. Students need constant exposure to a language over time in order to actually acquire it. To help fix this problem, some of Mrs Kickett's children enrolled in a community language school, and she would like to specifically thank the ACT Community Language Schools Association for all they do to provide informal language learning opportunities in our community, including creating opportunities where the government school system failed to provide them. So on that point, she speaks strongly in favour of Ms Lee's motion, the recommendation that the ACT government work more closely with that association in order to share resources so that language education can be offered in a school setting where needed. We do have a wealth of human and other resources here in the nation's capital, and I urge the government to do more to take full advantage of these resources. This could include working with community language experts who are keen to teach in order to make sure they're available to school students and that this relationship can be formalised, whether that's the issuing of credit or merely annotating a student's school record. Mrs Kickett has had discussions with expert language instructors who teach both in the ACT and across the border in New South Wales, and they've informed her that creating a permanent record of a student's achievement is far easier in New South Wales than it is here. This clearly could be fixed. The Canberra Academy of Languages is currently able to issue credits to its students, but its accreditation is with the ACT Board of Senior Secondary Studies, and therefore it only works for students in Year 11 and 12. We need to extend those opportunities into the lower years of school. So clearly, Madam Speaker, we need a serious action plan for second language learning in the Territory, one that responsibly pulls together all of the resources that are already at hand, seeks to create new opportunities and resources, and embeds into our schools a rational and consistent language pathways for our students. Many of our students want this to happen. They would benefit from this happening. We can see their passion for learning in the example of the 2 Narrabundah College students who recently launched an online petition in response to finding out that their Indonesian course had been cancelled without any known consultation halfway through their studies. We are the nation's capital. We have thriving multicultural communities, an abundance of diplomatic missions, committed community language instructors, and more. In light of our situation, we can and absolutely should be the nation's leader when it comes to second language learning opportunities. And the Canberra Liberals are united in our commitment to that educational future. I commend the motion to the Assembly, as does Mrs Kickett. Thank you.
Question is Ms Berry's amendment be agreed to? In closing, Ms